Welcome back, everyone, to our 9th episode of the Bravado Blitz. This week, we'll cover the upcoming games for October 26th. I'm your host, Eric Shin.
And I am your co-host, Brian Shows. Good to see you again, Eric. Hope you're as excited as I am about high school football.
I am.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm there.
All right. And Brian, you look ravaging today.
Ravaging or ravishing?
Ravishing. Yeah.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, so we had a couple good games last week, finally.
Yeah.
And we're going to begin to wind down the regular season as we enter week number 9. And if we thought week 7 was wild and crazy and week 8 was just as wild as week 7, we had a bunch of close games, overtimes, and teams laying it out there on the line.
Yeah, the teams, players, coaches, all of them are trying to get that playoff spot, playing with a bigger sense of urgency. Mm-hmm. Hard work, extra long hours, extra film time going on right now, and I know how stressful those coaches are. These guys have my thanks, as it all adds up to some great football. We have some great district races in our area, and it is just fun to watch how the games and the districts are going to unfold.
You're very right. And as we recap the week, Brian, I'll let you guesstimate on some of the districts and district position. You like that, guesstimate?
Yes.
And so you'll know he'll be playoff bound at this time next week, and he'll be getting ready for basketball. So sit back and enjoy, because it's time for the Bravado Blitz. Welcome back, Blitz fans. We had a great week of football, and we want to thank everyone out there that's watching us and tuning in to our games of the week. We really appreciate you watching. We had some of the best in productions this last few weeks. It's been a lot of fun. The games have been great, and hopefully they only get better as we wind down the season. With most schools out this last Thursday and Friday, we streamed 2 games this past week. We didn't get any rained out this time. Hopefully that was good. We started out seeing Checotah last Thursday night as they played a very good Seminole team. And then we got to see one of the great rivalries in Oklahoma football on Friday night was a battle for the rock. Hilldale and Fort Gibson squared off against each other, and Hilldale kept the rock for one more year.
I really enjoyed both of those games, Eric. That Seminole-Checotah game was just a classic. And even though the score in the Hilldale-Fort Gibson game was lopsided, the game was closer through halftime than it would indicate. It was a good, entertaining game to watch. Yeah,
I lost bragging rights another year to all my Hilldale buddies, which they include you, and or your wife at least. Your wife at least. Okay. And as I say, there's always next year. So Hilldale was ready, and it showed. Seminole showed that we had them rated so highly at the beginning of the year for a reason. And those teams gave it all they had. Yep.
As I said earlier, you can tell those teams are putting in a lot of extra work. Let's take a look at those Checotah and Seminole highlights.
Yep. So we had a 2-hour delay, and it was because of lighting. They kept blowing transformers or something, but they fixed it with a big stick. And you think I'm joking. But this game started off with a wild play. First pass goes through a Seminole defensive back's hands right into Jacob Barrett's hands of Checotah, and he takes it to a house. Great concentration by the young man. Checotah used their passing game, Shropshire to Barrett, and then they have that talented freshman running back, Dante Fisher. They moved the ball up and down the field. Seminole continued to hand the ball to their big workhorse, the running back, Gunville. He carried kids for extra yards throughout the game. Checotah actually outgained Seminole in yardage, but when it came down to it, Shropshire needed that half a yard in the game on that 4th down. He got stuffed on it. And so I guess it was about the Seminole 6, and 1 minute to go, and you could just kind of see the balloon just deflate for Checotah.
Yeah, and it was going down to the wire. I thought Checotah had a really good chance to score there at the end. Seminole's defense made the play when they needed to.
Yeah, Shropshire, he got that yard he needed against Idabel in the overtime, but it wouldn't be this week. So that's why they play the game, right?
Yep.
And it was a good week, 1 week, bad week the next week, just win and lose. These kids on both sides gave it all they had. And I tell you what, the game was over about midnight, and both teams, they were just exhausted, shaking hands.
Checotah was emotionally done. Mm-hmm. The look on those kids' faces after the Checotah or the Idabel game the week before and then this, man, they were just done.
They spent a lot of energy there.
And then, man, Friday night we had one of the great rivalries in Oklahoma. I really thought the game was going to be in awful condition since it rained all day, but Hilldale's brand new turf was in great shape and looked great. Awesome.
And guess what? We had another light delay.
Yeah, man, I was worried. All those sparks flying everywhere in the beginning,
Sparks
man.
flying from that north light, and I guess they had a ballast that was shorting out and caused all kinds of problems. But, we just have some luck follow us sometimes.
Yeah. And Fort Gibson played a good ball game in the first half. Things kind of snowballed them in the second, and then in the fourth quarter, it just avalanched on them. But they were in it for most of the game.
Yeah, they were there. They were there for a while. It seemed Fort Gibson was hanging around. They seemed to lose all their momentum on one play. I don't know if it was a called play or the kid just decided, but it started snowballing after the punter tried on that failed fourth down attempt. And I think it was probably a check with me, and I don't know what happened. But a few plays later, bam, it's 21 from 21-7, 35-7, and it just kept going on down.
Yeah, and then what we noticed in the telecast was Fort Gibson was very predictable. I know their game is to pound the run, but they didn't run left all night long. And then when the substitutes were in, they ran at 80 yards, and he goes to the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Embry had a heck of a night, and Hilldale gets to keep the rock for at least one more year.
Yeah, it was. I think they got a little too predictable. Our game this week should be a classic as we go back to Eufaula, and they'll take on Antlers. Both of these teams are quietly putting together some nice seasons. At 7-1, the Bearcats are a solid club, and their only loss came to Colgate in week 2, and that was a 38-32 loss. And get this, 6 overtimes in that game.
6 overtimes?
6 overtimes.
That had been a good one, man.
That's a classic.
Yep.
Antlers, so they could easily be undefeated. Eufaula has rebounded nicely after a 1-2 start. Coach Newton has got some players healthy. He's got some players believing, and Ironheads are playing some good ball. Kind of got a lot of things lined out.
Yeah, so we have a 7-1 Antlers team going against a 6-2 Eufaula squad. Both teams are 5-0 and 2A6, and this game seems to be who's going to win the district championship, and also determine district positioning.
Yeah. I believe the district champion will get 2 games to start the playoffs, and so there's a lot on this line right here, and it could determine who gets Vian or Holland Hall in the second round. And I don't think anybody really wants them.
No, heck no. Both of the teams are strong, and if everything plays out according to plan, the second round games will be awesome. Since we are getting close to the end of the season, rankings are more important. Let's take a look at those rankings.
All right, let's take a look at them. Starting in Division 6A, Division 2, Class 6A Division 2, excuse me. 5-3 Muskogee remains in the 8th spot after falling to Booker T. Washington 47-26 last week. Up next for the Roughers, it's a number 10 ranked Bartlesville squad. Stillwater remains undefeated and holds on to the top spot after crushing Putnam City West 48-0. I don't think Stillwater has even been challenged yet this year.
No. Big game for the Roughers this week. You know, I had a chance at halftime of the Hilldale game to see some of those Muskogee kids, and you could tell when I asked about this week with Bartlesville, their mood changed. We were kind of joking around, and their mood changed like that. They were getting focused. A loss to them could throw them into a 3-team race for 2 playoff spots. They definitely need a win to avoid that nightmare. A win would help them lock down that 3rd spot in their district.
Definitely need to win out, and they've been improving every week.
Yeah.
So. In Class 5A, the Tahlequah Tigers continue to climb back up the polls with their 41-22 win over East Central. Tahlequah runs their record to 7-1, moves to number 8 in Class 5A. There was no movement in the rest of 5A rankings, and Carl Albert stays at number 1.
Tahlequah is currently tied for 2nd at 4-1 in district play with Claremore. Their Week 10 game with the Zebras is shaping up to be a huge game for both clubs. The winner will get sole possession of that coveted 2nd district position, and the loser could slide down to the 3rd position and get on the road for that 1st round playoff match.
Those 1-2
Probably
positions.
Bishop Kelly.
Yeah, those 1-2 positions. It's imperative for Tahlequah to win out. Moving down to Class 4A, the Broken Bow Savages dropped to number 7 after a 17-6 loss to top-rated Poto. Clayton climbs 3 spots to number 5 after a 28-0 win over Anadarko. And Wagner remains in the 3rd position after narrowly escaping the 9th-ranked Bristow Purple Pirates 29-28 in overtime. Well, that had to have been a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Poto remains the team to beat in 4A at number 1.
There were some great games in 4A this past week. I would have loved to have been at that Poto game. I still don't know how Poto put up 17 on that Broken Bow defense. And that overtime thriller by Wagner, man. Yeah. Bristow is definitely a team to watch out for. I didn't give them much of a chance against Wagner, but they showed they are, in fact, a contender.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Poto is the team to beat in 4A, and this class is strong. There's 2 teams still undefeated in 4A, and that's Poto in the East and Toto in the West. So 7 teams in this class, and we have 1 loss. 2 teams have 2. There's a lot of good teams, and they're going to be beating up on each other. So even split between the East and West out of those 9 teams should make for a really nice playoff race.
And moving on to Class 3A, and again, we have a little bit of movement in the class. The Chieftains remain at number 9 after their win at Checotah. Stigler drops 1 spot to number 8 after their loss to Idabel. And the Warriors climb 1 spot to 7 following their win. Oklahoma City Heritage Hall cements their claim for the top team in 3A after beating then number 2 Kingfisher 35-27.
And 2A undergoes a little bit of a change. Vian drops all the way to number 9 after losing the close one to the then unranked Holland Hall 15-14. Holland Hall enters the rankings at number 8. The Beggs Demons climb up into the 2nd spot with a 49-0 win over Kiefer, and the Oklahoma City Millwood Falcons stay perched atop the number 1 spot with a 65-6 beatdown of Oklahoma City Star Spencer.
In Class A, everyone remains right where they were last week. Gore is still at number 9, and they'll host Savannah this Friday night.
And we keep moving toward a district showdown between Salisaw Central and Gore in Week 10. And we'll have that as our game of the week next week, and pretty excited to go down to Salisaw Central.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Now moving into 8-man Class B, I think probably our favorite class. Checotah remains in the polls at number 7. The Lions shut out Arcoma 50-0. Dewar moves up 1 spot to 5 after beating Gans 55-6. And I love those Dragons. They moved to 7-1. Shattuck remains at number 1 after beating then ranked number 6 Laverne 26-22.
In Class C, Graham Dustin remains at number 7 after beating Wilson 60-0. Buffalo remains at number 1 after shutting out Timberlake 48-0. I just love that 8-man football, man. The points are flowing in that class.
Was that Justin Timberlake?
No.
Oh, okay.
Lord have mercy. No.
That'll do it for our state ranking segment. For more of an in-depth look at the rankings, check out okpreps.com. And when we come back, we're going to hand it off to Demi and check out some of the scores around our area. And then she'll present the ever-popular Bravado Wireless Power of Connection poll for week of October 29th.
There is truly no place like home. Right here in Eastern Oklahoma, Bravado Wireless provides the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month. We believe in strong, connected communities. That's why we live stream community events like local football games. You may not know us by name, but we'll be at the same festivals and cheering for our kids on the same sidelines. Because we live where you live. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back to The Blitz. I'm Demi Smith, and I'm pleased to present our Bravado Wireless Power of Connection poll for the week of October 29th. We welcome the Seminole Chieftains back into the poll after a short absence at the number 10 spot. The Chieftains improved to 6-2 on the year after they upset the Checotah Wildcats. Again, welcome back, Chieftains, and congrats on your win. Another new team to our poll is our number 9 team, the Eufaula Ironheads. Eufaula enters our poll after beating a good, valiant Bulldog team 19-6. A third new team to enter our poll is the Antler Bearcats. The Bearcats are putting a solid season together and move into the Power of Connection poll at number 8. Antlers goes to 7-1 after beating the Atoka Wampus Cats 49-0. I love that name, Wampus Cats. Climbing 1 spot, and no stranger to our poll, is the Talco Tigers. The 7-1 Tigers claim the 7th spot after a 41-22 win against Tulsa Central. And at number 6 is claimed by the Hilldale Hornets. With the win over Fort Gibson, Hilldale improves their record to 7-1 and climbs to 1 spot in our poll. Falling to number 5 is the Vian Wolverines. After their close loss to Holland Hall, 15-14, Vian hopes to rebound as they will face Pecola Friday night. Also, falling 3 spots to number 4 is our former number 1 team, the Broken Bow Savages. The Savages drop after losing a hard-fought game against the Poto Pirates, 17-6. The Savages will square off and travel to Salisaw this week. Idabel climbs all the way up from the 10th position to number 3 after upsetting Stigler 27-22. Idabel will play Lincoln Christian Friday night. Moving up the second ranking is the Gore Pirates. Gore will host Savannah this week. And the new number 1 in our poll is the Beggs Demons. Beggs best Kiefer, 49-0, to claim the top spot in our poll. The Demons will host Haskell this week. Dropping out of the poll is the Checotah Wildcats, Muskogee, and the Stigler Panthers. Some teams that received honorable mention this week were the Dewar Dragons at 7-1, the Checotah Lions at 6-1, and Class C's Graham's Dustin, who is undefeated at 8-0. Now that we have our Week 8 Power of Connection poll, let's look at some of the notable scores in our area from some of the unranked teams. In Class 6A2, Booker T beat the Muskogee Roughers 47-26. The Sapulpa Chieftains destroyed Shawnee 57-35. Ponca City loses to Bartlesville 49-35. Bixby shut out Sand Springs 35-0. In Class 5A, McAllister drops its record to 3-5 overall with its loss to Tulsa Edison. In Class 4A, Salisal shut out Muldrow 42-0, and Wagner beat Bristow 29-28 in overtime. In Class 3A, Lincoln Christian beat Oltmulgee 56-14, and Roland moves to 3-5 with a victory over Tulsa Webster 60-33. Moving to Class 2A, Wilburton Diggers beat Hartshorn 34-14, and Haskell improves its record with a victory over Morris 33-18. Keys loses a tough one to Panama 12-7, and Okima beat Chandler 42-34. In Class A, Hulbert upsets and gives Salisal Central their first loss 47-44. Porter beats the Warner Eagles 32-20. In Class B, Porum beats Cave Springs 46-6, and Strother upsets Canadian 60-30. Willika improves it to 7-2 with a win against Maud 52-22. In Class C, Webbers Falls gets their first win against Bowlegs 42-22, and Midway destroys Saskawa 72-26. That is just a few of the scores from around our coverage area. You can find more at okpreps.com. When we come back, we will hear from the coaches for the upcoming game of the week.
You are called to be bold. You have a right to the best wireless service, high-speed internet, and customer service at a price you can feel good about. At Bravado Wireless, we know this, and that's why we put you and your community first. We are owned and operated right here in Eastern Oklahoma. We live where you live. We proudly connect you to your family, friends, and business partners wherever they are. Dallas, Seattle, Taipei, Toronto, and anywhere else in the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back to the Bravado Blitz, and we have one of our favorite coaches in all of our coverage area, Coach Larry Newton. Coach Newton, always a pleasure. Love seeing you.
Thank you, guys.
So the last time we talked, it was Checotah Eufaula week, and Eufaula took some hits on the chin, but it sounds like it may have woke some kids up because you guys are on quite a run, 5-game winning streak.
We've come along. We've changed some things since the Checotah game, and like I said, Checotah, they got after us, and like I said, the only thing you do is put your big boy pants on, and step up to the next game, and we expected more out of our kids, and got it out of them so far.
I've got a couple of friends that live down in Eufaula, and they travel to the games, and they said defensively. You guys have really turned the corner, and really the defense has really stepped it up.
They have. Some of the scores that you see is our 2s and 3s that come in, and man, I mean, we give it up quick whenever those guys come in, and like I said, but our first unit, Coach Gregg really got them going. All the coaches have got their kids playing really well on defense, and they're flying to the football, trying to make plays, and it shows.
Right. Well, I liked hearing that from people because, the old adage goes, offense wins titles, but defense wins championships.
Right.
So got to get there with defense. Big win last week. Go down to Valiant. And you win 19-6 at Valiant, which is no small feat because Valiant they're a tough little ball club.
Right. I tell everybody, they went to third round last year, and won the district, and like I said, you don't hear a lot about them because they're down south. And they got a great ball club. Coach Pratt, who used to be at Hartshorn, used to be at Broken Bow, has done a very good job. He's got the kids playing hard, and like I said, I knew going in that we tried to tell our kids all week, they're going to come hit you, they're going to play hard, and they did. It was their senior night, and those kids played exceptionally well down there, and give those guys all the props.
Yeah, they're a hard hitting ball club, and they're what's even worse is they're nice people too.
Right.
Coach Pratt's a great guy. So
yes, he is.
That's the thing is someone's got to lose, but you know how it goes.
Yes, sir.
So. Congratulations to the Ironheads, because for the first time all season, you guys have broke into our Power Connection poll. You come in at number 9 this year.
Uh-oh.
And I know I don't want to jinx you. I'm not going to put the jinx on you. But you're going to play a tough Antlers Bearcats team this Friday night. And it could be for all the district marbles here.
This is it for us as far as whether we win. We're district champs. If we lose, then we've got to take the see if Valiant will beat Antlers there at the last game. But we control what our own destiny as far as that goes. They're a good ball club. They probably go undefeated if they don't go into overtime with Colgate and Colgate. I think they're second place in their district.
Right.
So, down there with Kingston, I think Kingston is ranked pretty good.
Right.
So, they're a good ball club, and they're the same way. They're going to be strong. They're going to be physical, and they don't mind hitting you right in the mouth.
Right. And it's kind of it's funny. The 3A teams kind of are a little bit more spread out teams than the 2A. These guys are kind of your blue collar, take your lunch pail to work type of guys, and they're going to punch you in the mouth and make you pay for it and work for every inch you get. But that's just kind of like the 2A philosophy, I guess. It
is. Like I said, just going through it, just watching them, there's not that much of a drop off at anything that you watch. It don't matter what level you play.
Right.
When I come down from 5A at Checotah, came into 3A, I was shocked at how big offensive linemen were in the 3A compared to what some of the guys we met. And you had Checotah, Stigler, all those guys was always hearing those big guys.
Yeah.
But, that's the biggest issue I see in 2A is the linemen's not quite as big as what you see, but as far as playing hard, they play hard.
Yeah. All right, Coach, so you've got Antlers this week. What do you tell your kids going into this one? I mean, because you control your own destiny.
It is. We're going to play and, our fans are going to come to the game. It's going to be packed. And we told our kids that all the week, and leading up to this game. We had to win last week in order to have an opportunity to win a district championship on our own field.
Right.
And that's what the kids want to do. We've talked about it. We've been in that process for, as long as I've been there at Eufaula. And the kids, for some reason, it doesn't work out. We doesn't finish it off. So these kids have been really determined about, finishing off the journey.
Right.
And, it's real big for us to have the opportunity to have 2 games in the playoffs at home, the possibility of 3. You rather have that than 1.
Right.
And the kids, I believe, they'll be ready to play. This week will be a challenge because it's one of those deals where you got to stay focused during the week because the game's not tomorrow. It's Friday, and those kids sometimes will look ahead and get anxious and lose focus of what we need to do.
Right. Well, it's always a blessing to cover you guys and to see these kids grow from earlier in the year to see where they're at now and to see what they've learned and hear the feedback from fans and stuff and just how much they've done. It's awesome to see, and we certainly hope Checotah. Excuse me. Woo, you're gonna slap me for that. No. Certainly hope Eufaula has a long run in the playoffs because we'd like to follow you guys. So we're excited about this game Friday night.
Like I said, we are as well. And hopefully this will be good weather this Friday night where you guys can be here for this one.
I tell you what, we got a little spooked on that lightning storm that last time, and I don't think it did a whole lot. But I tell you, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot since then. We've grown a lot, and I think you can see some good stuff. So, folks, if you can't make it out to Paul Bell Stadium this Friday night for the Eufaula versus Antlers, which should be one of the best games we've covered all year long. If you can't make it out, it'll be on bravadotv.com, obviously. And as always, we love having Coach Newton up here and showing off the Ironhead helmet right here. So stay tuned. We've got more coming up on the Bravado Blitz, and check us out at bravadotv.com. So stick around.
Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month, right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big, go bold. Go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back to the Blitz, and we got to hear from Coach Newton. Always a great interview from Eufaula. Great man, and don't really. I mean, I know there's a lot of coaches that work their tails off, but man, he really works his tails off. But Eufaula started 1-2 this year, and
challenging schedule. They really stepped out and challenged themselves. You know, we saw that we had them at Checotah, and they were right with Checotah for a half. And really, as young as their defense was, they held Checotah down for a half.
And if you remember, they had Vian the week before, and Vian beat them handily, but they had a lot of miscues early. But after the miscues, they kind of figured themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, well, with all his injuries and some of the other things that go along with that, grades and whatnot, it got him a chance to build some depth, I believe.
Yeah. He's been, you know, I talked to him about, I've got a couple of friends in Eufaula, and they've been giving me some feedback, and they've been really happy with Eufaula's defense, and just as a whole cohesive unit have been playing really well. And so talking to Coach Newton about that, he said, you know, he backed that up. He said he's very proud of his defense, and, you know, it's kind of what they're hanging their hat on, you know.
Yeah. Communication, being connected to one another, knowing each other's job, but not like we talked sometime in the Hilldale-Fort Gibson game, that eye discipline. Trust the other guy to do what he's supposed to do, so you don't get out of position. So.
Right. So big game with Antlers, you know. Eufaula had a big game at Valiant last week. You know, it's a tough place to play down in Valiant, and you know, it's those blue collar kids, they bring it. But now they're coming up against an Antlers team that's been, you know, they're averaging over 40 points a game. I believe that's what it said here. So I mean, they put up some numbers. That's a big feat against that defense. Yeah,
all that trust and everything is going to be put to the test this week. You know, that defense. It's a good thing that they trust their defense so well. If he had it to do any other way, if he had to pick which side of the ball to pick, I'm sure he'd say defense.
Yeah. One thing, I know you weren't here for the interview, but one thing you're going to be happy about is Coach Newton said he's got a trick play up his sleeve.
Oh, boy.
So I knew you'd be excited about it. Yeah.
Did you give him any suggestions?
No. No, he knows a lot more than we do. So, but he's got a trick play, and I was like, man, Brian's going to be so excited.
Yes, I like some trick. Hey, I'm a Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden, born and bred, baby.
Trickeration, right. All right, folks. Well, you got to hear from Coach Newton, and got to break down, you know, a little bit of what we can, and it's going to be a great game. But we're going to hand it off to Demi once again, and she's going to present our Players of the Week and talk about our Bravado Wireless Scholarship Giveaway in partnership with OK Preps.
Thank you, guys. First, I want to let you all know about our Bravado Wireless Scholarship Giveaway before we pick our Players of the Week. Bravado Wireless is giving away 2 scholarships to deserving scholar athletes. Coaches will nominate the players, and OK Preps will pick the winners. So, coaches go to okpreps.com and nominate a deserving boy and girl athlete so they can win a $2,500 scholarship. Bravado Wireless will pay the university of choice for the winners. For more information, go to okpreps.com and be sure to spread the word because it's open to all athletes in all sports. Well, it's time for our 3G, 4G, and 5G Players of the Week. Our 3G Player of the Week is Wilburton Diggers running back Tanner Arnold. He had 18 carries for 109 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns and 7 tackles and 3 tackles for loss in a 34-14 win over Hartshorn last week. Now our 4G Player of the Week is Wagner Bulldogs safety Drew Mills. He had 23 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery for a 58-yard touchdown in a 29-28 overtime win over Bristow last week. Our 5G Player of the Week, he is no stranger to this. It is Hulbert Rider running back Jacob Bruce. He carried the ball 43 times for 347 yards, completed 1 pass for 40 yards, and had 7 tackles and the game-clinching interception in the 47-44 win over previously unbeaten Central Sallisaw. And keep a watch on him. He's only 850 yards shy of the all-time career rushing record for the state of Oklahoma.
Thank you, Demi. And Brian, I've got I've got some honorable mentions I want to throw in because we asked the coaches to get all the information to us by 2 o'clock on Monday so we can put it on in all of our stuff, build our graphics. But we had one, Chad Hendricks from Checotah, the triplets. Jacob Barrett. We're going to throw these guys in some honorable mentions, and you've got some honorable mentions you want to throw out as well. Jacob Barrett, 8 catches, 204 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, big game. Shropshire, over 300 yards passing, big game. And then Fisher, over 120 yards rushing, big game. And 3 kids had a tremendous game.
And those were tough yards for Fisher, man. Seminole did not make it easy on him. No. And I bet you if you asked just the type of kids that Shropshire looks to us, he wishes he had a half more yard of rushing. Oh yeah, 1.5 more yard, and I bet you that's all he's worried about.
Well, and but you go ahead and mention the kids you were going to talk about.
DUL Gunville, because he was our player of the game.
Right.
But what was pointed out by the coach from Seminole was that their center we pointed out in the broadcast that he had a cast. Well, he was snapping offhand all night long.
Right.
And they do a lot of their running in between the tackles. Now, Gunville bounces after he gets to that second level, but in between the guard, center, man, that's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, when you find that out, he texts me his player of the week, and Gunville's not in there, and I asked him, and he said, well, he had a big game. I said, but he said, my center had that broken hand he broke against Stigler. So he has a cast, so he starts snapping with his offhand.
Yeah, man.
That's a big feat.
That's in a big game like that.
Yeah. That's pretty big. They do a lot of zone blocking and stuff. So yeah, that kid's got to be on his horse. But also Buford, that linebacker, for Seminole. One reason Checotah did have fits, especially late in the game, he had 14 tackles.
Yeah.
I mean. And here's what's crazy about that is they had some injuries to a linebacking core, so they were already a little thin.
Yeah,
but
between that linebacker and that left defensive end, man, it seemed like every other time, if one of them wasn't in on the tackle, it was the other.
Yeah, a couple more names we could throw out. Dante Reese from Idabel had 9 tackles and 4 sacks against Stigler. So,
man,
yeah.
That's more than I've got in my life.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, Dante Reese, folks, if you haven't had a chance to watch him, defensive end number 54 for Idabel, go back and look at our game footage against Checotah. This young man, he's a great player. I would be really surprised if we don't see him playing on Saturdays next year, or in a couple of years to come.
What year is he?
He's a senior.
Okay.
But he's as nice and smart as young man as he is a good player. So
I know you talked to me about that, about how pleasant he was to talk with.
Yeah, I'm very high on him, if you can't tell. And we've been blessed. We've had a lot of kids we've talked to that
I like the fact that you pointed out the Seminole linebacker, but for the first time we have a defensive player break into the 5, 4, and 3G.
Yeah.
Safety Drew Mills from Wagner had himself a big game, man.
23 tackles.
23 tackles.
I mean, that's a pretty big feat. And then, of course, our man, Jacob Bruce.
It goes without saying, man. The man, the myth, the legend.
Jacob Bruce, right. And from Holbert Riders, I mean, golly, we just can't say enough. And we have the 3G, 4G, and 5G, but we get so many nominations, we could probably stretch that all the way out to about 15.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great players. So don't feel bad if you didn't get on the list. And it goes by votes. So we have about 8 people that vote on them. So congratulations to
Mr. Bruce.
To Mr. Bruce and Drew Mills and Tanner Arnold for our players of the week. So all right, Brian, we're going to Eufaula this week.
Looking forward to it.
I'm excited. We
missed the first trip to Eufaula, so hopefully the weather is not conspiring against us.
I hope not. We had that lightning storm, so we had to get out of there. So we've got Eufaula, Antlers, big district. Whoever wins this wins district.
Yeah. So. What else are you going to do on a Friday night in Eufaula? Come on out and see us.
Come on out and see us. And if you can't make it to the game, of course, it's on bravadotv.com. And any closing remarks on our game this week?
I'm looking forward to it.
Football weather.
Well, once again,
to keep our fingers
it's Oklahoma.
closed.
If you don't like the weather, just stand around for an hour.
All right, so we
change.
No rain. Make sure all the lights are working. And
man, I'm afraid we're asking too much.
So just half of it.
Yeah.
So, folks, we've it's always an event wherever we go. But be sure and check us out this Friday night at Eufaula. Antlers is coming in to visit, and it's going to be a heck of a game. District title was on the line. 7-1 Antlers coming in. Bearcats, and then you have the Ironheads. And so check it out. If you can't make it to the game, be sure and watch it on bravadotv.com. Like us, share us, tell all your friends, even tell your enemies about us, because they'll find something, and let us know what you think about it. So, Brian, as you always say,
Have a great day if you want to.